Welcome to the kNights podcast. Tonight it's just me and Ben.
Oh, hi.
Yes, that's you, Ben. Just the two of us today.
I was missing the visual cue.
Yes, I was like looking, but I guess more of a flourish next time. How you doing, man?
Pretty good.
How was your weekend? Pretty good.
Yeah.
Been
wedding.
Friend's
wedding.
Friend's wedding.
Work. You know, the usual. What about you?
I went down to San Diego actually, and it's pretty cool. We went to the fair and went on a ghost tour, which
Wait, did you say ghost?
Yes, I did say ghost, but oh, good. Yeah, well, it wasn't that spooky, I guess, and there was no busting involved.
Oh.
But, we can't all be that lucky. Maybe actually, thinking to that, maybe someone should have a ghost busting tour, but I guess I think probably if you go to New York, you probably look up. There's probably somebody who has scenic Ghostbusters tours. Like, you could visit the firehouse. Is the firehouse still there even?
I'm not sure. I would assume it would be there unless something happened to the building. Kind of like, what was it Hill Valley, the courthouse? That whole thing was there until it caught on fire and burned down.
Yeah, it's true. But it's Hollywood. They could always rebuild
but they didn't.
That's their choice. But yeah, it's true. They didn't. I wonder if the firehouse is still there. But you could probably, now that you brought it up, yeah, you could probably have a Ghostbusters tour. That'd be cool. Where you just visit locations from the movie.
This is where they defeated the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
And then you give everybody marshmallows or something. Stay Puft marshmallows. See, now it's
just in a regular Ziploc bag. It didn't say Stay Puft, but trust me, it is.
It's written in Sharpie, okay? Stay Puft. You didn't even spell it correctly. That's close enough. Go watch the movie. Same exact thing. That'd be pretty cool. But
and then at the end of the tour, you get fluffed.
Whether you like it or not, it's gonna happen. But this one was around San Diego actually, and they took us to different locations and gave us background on each one of them. And I didn't know what to expect going into it, but going around and listening to them, it was pretty cool. It was like I forgot what it was called, like haunted ghost tours or something. It was in Old Town or something. But
yeah, I forgot what street it was over there. But they have in front of one of the shops in Old Town, between the shops and the parking lot, it's a line of kind of trolley-looking buses, like the orange and green ones. And they have different tours, like tours of San Diego, the on and off tours, the haunted something tour.
Well, I think there's one that's run by that one that does the on and off the trolley tours. It's also, they have one called, I think, Ghost and Gravestones or something like that, but it's by the same company that does it. That was the other one. We didn't do that one, but that was another one we were thinking about doing. It was between this one and that one, and we went with the one we went with. I think it's the Haunted Ghost Tours, but it was really cool, and I wasn't expecting too much. I was like, this might be something interesting, but it's kind of thing where it's like, I always should try it out. You don't necessarily see ghosts, or maybe you will, but I don't think we did. But you go, part of the tour, you go into this old museum, this house that's been turned into a museum that's in the Gaslamp district in San Diego, and it's actually since at the time when we went, it was just our tour group. So basically, they opened the door. Our tour guide opened the door and just let our tour group in. So it was all dark in there and just us. So it was kind of creepy too. So you felt like you were totally going to see a ghost. Definitely going to see a ghost. Creepy atmosphere. It's very like something's going to jump out at you or just appear.
not an employee.
Well, there was actually, it was just the hostess that was doing the tour, and the driver, the guy driving the bus, because it started in Old Town, but it kind of went to different parts of San Diego. So you get on the bus, go to a different location, get the details, walk around. So it's a half walking, half driving kind of thing.
One of the funny things, though, is that in that area, they actually have where the tour starts from. The Whaley House is just like a few steps from there. Like, it's a small place too, but is that where they end the tour? Back at the Whaley House? Is that like the crowning?
Actually, the beginning of of where you get on the bus, where they start the tour, actually starts near the Whaley House. Like, you just walk down the street and it's right there. So they actually begin the Whaley tour, the tour, the haunted ghost tour, by taking you to the house. But for the tour we were on, you didn't go inside the house. They just kind of stopped outside of it, and she pointed out things about that went on in the house, kind of thing, and I guess behind the house too, because it's the house and there's a backyard and there's another kind of building behind it where someone else died. So people were dying all over that property, apparently. So,
back in the day,
yes, everyone was dying everywhere, apparently, back in those times. But apparently, it's the most haunted place in America, is what I kept hearing, according to the United States Commerce Department or something. I don't know. It was something really weird. Like, not the United States Haunted House Governmental Association or something. Nope, I think it was like the Commerce. They're like, yep, that's the number one haunted house in all of America. So they got that.
I believe it. One of my friends, she was over there, and I guess she has this thing with ghosts, like she can kind of see them and stuff. But she was over there, and I guess the people from like Ghost Hunters or one of those shows on cable where they're trying to find evidence at the most haunted house in America, and they were coming up empty-handed. But I guess you could say she's had some supernatural kind of stuff happen to her, which can't really be explained, but like scientifically. But she was in one of the rooms, like when you first walk in, it's in the main foyer, and it's looking into the living room, I think, or the den, or the main quarters. And for some reason, she just kind of felt compelled to take a picture. First picture she took with flash, and like, oh, I didn't mean to do it with flash. Let me take that off. Took another picture, same spot, same frame, setup, and second picture out came a ghost, like an apparition, like clearly detailed in the picture.
Oh, so you saw the picture then?
Yeah, I saw the picture. It like gave me like goose skin. Goosebumps? Goose skin. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it wasn't blurry or anything. It wasn't like one of those, oh, this is like clearly just you move the camera when you took a picture, or a light just went through, or someone threw a flashlight at you or something.
Well, I mean, if you have a picture of a ghost, though, you should be able to, like, don't you, like, put that on the news and the internet and make millions of dollars? Like, here's my picture of ghost.
Well, not exactly, because with her reasoning, like, because she's kind of more attuned to this kind of stuff, she's like, there were all these people here looking for a ghost, but I took the picture and the ghost only appeared to me.
Okay.
So it's like, it's not my business. It's not in my place to have put the ghost business out there for everyone else to see. Oh. When clearly, if it wanted to be seen by anyone else, then it would make itself known to the other people. But say, like, if I were in that boat and the ghost appeared to me and stuff, and I like put it out, then I kind of feel like the ghost would be vengeful, like, you bastard, and then I would get haunted.
Well, I mean, but
like follow me home or something.
But the other thing is, like, it's like you said, she's attuned, right?
Yeah.
What if you were a ghost and you wanted to be seen, but only one person out of a million could actually see you, like in Ghosts.
But
like
the thing is, it wasn't that it was seen by her; it was picked up on her camera,
right?
So it was like hard photographic evidence, and she showed it to us like after she came back from the trip and everything, and it was crazy because it was clear. It was almost like looking at a transparent person.
Well,
it was like one of those long white kind of nightgown dresses. You could see the lace on it. You could see the ribbon and the bow clearly. The hair was clear. I don't remember the face. I probably blocked that out. Maybe.
Oh yeah.
But some other people were saying, yeah, the face was kind of clear too. But
I mean, like you said, she could, for lack of a better word, she can see ghosts, pretty much. Is kind of what's going on. But these other people who are trying to see ghosts, and obviously, I mean, I've watched my fair share of episodes of Ghost Hunters, and they're taking a lot of pictures, and they're trying anything to see them, and they can't because I'm guessing they don't have the touch. Basically, they don't got the power. They're normals like the rest of us. But
Transformers.
But she can, but no one else can. So, like, if I wanted to be seen, I'd want the person that can see me.
They do catch some stuff every now and then, but it's nothing like that clear.
Yeah, I know. I've watched.
It's like
I think I watched
blurs and streaks. And
I used to watch this show, but then I'm like, this takes a long time. The show's an hour long,
and the payoff is like just like
if anything, if there is a payoff, so it's mostly just tension and stuff. Like
it's like, oh, look at that right there.
If you even get look at that right there, most of the time. So I was like, in this day and age, I don't need to wait for that. I could just look on YouTube and look up the best of, like where shit actually happens. And even watching, it was a while ago when I did this, when it was earlier, but even watching that there wasn't a lot. Like there was like the big payoff where there was something that actually like something happened in one place and something moved, but then that was over the course of many episodes. That was like a lot of watching for
like Dragon Ball.
A very little payoff, exactly. So I was like, well, I mean, it was still cool, and I'm still interested, but it's just like she can actually see them. Actually, it makes me wonder if I had the power to see ghosts, or feel them, or even interact with them. But I didn't want to, I guess, because I mean, I'm guessing she's not going out of her way to actually find ghosts. She's not going ghost hunting. She just happens to have the power, basically. But she'd rather not, I'm guessing, in theory, run into ghosts. Like if she could not have to deal with ghosts or dealing with their presence, I'm guessing she would. Like if she could be like us, where we obviously can't interact or don't have to worry about it happening.
Well, one of the other things too is like if you have like a near-death experience, then all of a sudden you'd open that window or open that door, and then you would see them from that point on.
Well, I've seen it in the movies, but I don't know. I guess it could happen, but the only point of I hear that is usually in the movies where it's like, I almost died, now I can see ghosts kind of thing.
I see dead people.
Is usually in movies, but like some people just apparently naturally can sense these things and hear and are more sensitive to them. But if I were one of them,
like I know it happens in my family too, and I've noticed with I don't have any relatives over here, but like abroad, they, not every single one, but I guess it skips generations, they can see or experience something of supernatural origin, I would say. Stuff that can't really be explained. Like you witness it and it's like, I do not believe what I just saw, but I saw it.
Right. Well, I mean, I wonder if it was like a bother, like I had the power, and actually it wasn't really a gift so much. It felt like more of a curse, because I'm not really like hanging out with ghosts or cool with hanging out. It's not like, I'm trying to think think like the Frighteners, where Michael J. Fox is working with the ghosts.
I've been meaning to see that one.
Well,
I have it queued up in Netflix.
But basically, I think that's like he's cool with the ghosts. Like, but then I think in general, that's not how it usually is. Like the ghosts are haunting their own thing.
A mix.
Oh, there is a mix.
Yeah, there's like the ones who would need help and everything and are kind of just lost. At least from the different conversations with the people that I've had. The ones who are lost and are looking for that way out or to kind of move on. And then the other ones who are just here to cause trouble. And if they know you can see them, they will make it their business to like haunt you. It's like, I'll haunt you good.
Well, I guess that would make me, if anything, I would go out of my way, unless I would just really like to do that kind of thing, would avoid super haunted places. Like,
no,
I mean, that's like almost, it feels like it's asking for bad things to happen, because from what I heard about the Whaley house anyways, a lot of people died in not very happy ways, kind of there, like less than, like ghosts I would not want to see, like that died horribly in their last moments. So they're like, their ghostly versions are of horrible things happening to people 101. And I was like,
well, it's not only that too, but it's also because like our time frame that we generally think of in the modern time, we just kind of think of within our own timeline, like how long since we've existed to whenever we expire. But basically lots of stuff has happened before then, and it's like the house you've lived in, you're not the first owner. And stuff has happened and everything. So even like when we were working together, they said, oh yeah, the place where you worked at was haunted. And I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like, I thought the toys and stuff were just kind of making their own noise and everything. And it's like cheap Chinese manufacturing and stuff like that. But it's like, no, there's like a little boy that's running around the halls and kind of messing with things. And it's like, that's creepy. And I used to pull like the late night shifts, like where you stay overnight and don't get out till morning, till daybreak.
Well, I guess also when you're, but that makes me think, like when you're, if you do, obviously things happen before you're there, like you're saying back in time. Well, is it like, does it stop at a certain point, or are we going to, basically, long story short, ghost dinosaurs? They died, they were around. I mean, the timeline's longer, but they still died. And they're probably pissed off because we're using them as fuel now. Haha. We're using your bones for fuel now, kind of thing. Or, well, not your bones, but basically everything else that was you. So, do you see, I wonder if you'd see that. Like, I mean, the humans is the obvious one, but
maybe.
I mean, other things died before, unless maybe they don't technically have a spirit.
Because you know how there's like stories about like ghost dogs and ghost pets, basically.
I don't really hear that much about ghost pets, actually, but I guess it makes sense. I mean, I never even thought about it.
It's like, oh yeah, sometimes you hear like someone walking around upstairs, like heavy boots and stuff like that, and then other times it's like, oh, I hear like a dog collar, or like an animal running across the floor, or dogs barking, or cats meowing, or something like that. But there's nobody there. But it's like all the living spirits then, before whatever event happened, were like trapped and kind of forced to live out the rest of existence in that state.
So yeah, ghost dinosaurs is a possibility then, because they died pretty terribly too. Well, most of them probably, you know, other things.
I'm wondering if it has anything to do with a specific level of how sentient, maybe just only sentient beings.
So monkey ghost?
Maybe.
Or do they not make the cut?
I don't know.
Can you see? Well, you have to be this level of intelligence.
Dogs and cats make the cut.
That's true. If dogs and cats make the cut, then, you know, that is true. Maybe the bar is a little lower, but you're probably not going to see like ghost bugs, which would be like weird if you killed a lot of bugs and then like I just killed that wasp nest. Now there's ghost wasps. Even worse. Yes, like, haunted by.
Can't sleep. Like what the?
Can't sleep. Ghost wasp will get me. That's even worse. They're just messing with you now, always buzzing around and stuff. If you were a ghost,
you're trying to fall asleep and you hear this buzzing in your ear. It's like, yeah, cut it out. What's going on? In a hermetically sealed room.
Because you're all freaked out because of the ghost wasp
and dinosaurs
and ghost dinosaurs. I was waiting for those to show up, but I mean that'd be like, oh, okay. But I mean I'd like to see the picture, I guess, because I'm not attuned, so I didn't see anything when we were at the house, and apparently, at the museum we were at, and apparently shit goes down. Well, the thing they had there, they gave us these, I guess EMP meters, these readers that are supposed to like read like kind of electronic
psychokinetic energy.
Well,
PKE.
They're not PKE meters, no, but they were like, I guess kind of electricity meters kind of things.
Yeah,
they said if they
like a EMP,
if they kind of got she told us that you don't want to put it close to your phone, otherwise you'll get like kind of a false reading because it'll just be like pinging on your phone. Yeah. So you want, if you have
like turn off your electronics,
or hold it away from your electronics. So you're walking around this house, basically waving this thing around like a mad person trying to, like, I gotta find a ghost, because, you know, there's gotta be, because in the house that we were at, apparently part of the story is there were tons of people that died of tuberculosis in there. Like, it's not that big a house, but apparently the lady that lived there got paid by the city, or a small amount to house these people when the outbreak was going on, because all the hospitals were filled, and she put in the lowest bid for taking in people to her house, and kind of, you know, pushed them all in there. And and also when they died, apparently they were cremated, I guess, in the house or around the house, and then they were put into urns and cataloged and put kind of in the floorboards underneath between the first and second stories, like in the floorboards between the floors.
Yeah. And
she just did this, but then when she moved out and sold the house, she forgot to tell the next people this. So there were 2,000 urns or something between the floor, and no one knew about it until I think they were doing reconstruction on the house, or they were fixing it up, and they tore up the floorboards there, and they found all these urns there of basically people who had died who knows how long ago.
Is that when the haunting started?
Well, I think there was probably
property?
I don't know, maybe it was always haunted before, but just no one knew what the heck was going on, and now it could be a reason. And so it seemed like a really haunted place. It wasn't a big house, and we didn't get to go upstairs, but we were just downstairs using the thing. And apparently in one of the chairs, the rocking chairs, there's supposed to be a ghost there that appeared there.
And the chair just rocks by itself?
It can, apparently. Not when we were there, but that's kind of, she was telling us what things that have been known to happen in the house. But when we moved the meter, we were just moving it around, it wouldn't really do anything. It was just kind of always on one side. So it's this doesn't really do anything. Or maybe there's just no ghost. But when we held it close to the chair, really close to where someone would sit in the chair, it actually started to move. Not ping all the way to the end, but kind of actually start to jump.
So residual energy,
I guess. And there was another spot in the kitchen on the other side where you'd around the area you'd get nothing, but if you held in this one area just inside the room, the thing would ping all the way to the other side. And there's nothing there. There's no electronics or anything. There's nothing that would seem to cause it to ping. It's just that area for some reason.
And it was super cold in that area.
I don't know. It's actually because we couldn't go inside the kitchen and stuff, because it was kind of set up as a
display.
You could look inside there and stuff. And they had a rope, which apparently the ropes keep getting taken down. Or they'll close up the house, and when they come into the museum later on to open up, the ropes, no one will have been in there, but the ropes will be like either like pulled down, like one side will be pulled down, or they'll be coiled up in the center of the room or something, like, or basically stuff happens when no one else is there.
It's just like a velvet rope or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's a rope that's like a cross, like a kind of a coiled rope that goes across.
Well, there's your problem. It needs to be silver chain.
No, but we want to see stuff happen. We want we want the ghost to do stuff, so we want to give him as many toys to play with. It's like giving like a dog a chewy toy or something. You want to see it. Oh, look, it's playing with the stuff. You want. I'd say if you had like a ghost toy that made the ghost appear when you wanted to, that'd be like the thing to get. Yeah, well, it would be. Well, because it's kind of like the Ouija board kind of thing. It's basically a thing that you get ghosts to play with you, or demons, or whatever you're doing, but it's basically your ghost toy.
Did you hear about that one, about how the Ouija board works?
Well,
like how it's a toy, like an actual, just an entertainment only toy, and I forgot which company had originally, but they eventually sold it to Hasbro, and Hasbro took it over and kind of basically kept the same overall idea and just marketed the toy as, oh, look, it's entertainment only, but this is how you can, quote unquote, contact the dead. And basically one of the important rules for that was like every time you finish the session, you need to move the plank that you have to goodbye. And that basically says that's like the off switch for the board. So you would ask it the questions, and the thing would move and spell out, like words, numbers, names, all that stuff. Say yes or no to your questions. But goodbye is supposed to close that portal. And if you don't do that, then you leave that portal open and ghosts.
Now, if you keep doing that, do you get multiple ghosts? Can you just like keep
portals open?
Like keep portaling stuff in, just keep like portaling ghosts in? Because I mean, there's a title out there for most haunted place, so I mean, if someone's going for the record and get some ghost activity going, a lot of ghost activity. If it, if you can get like a ghost hotel or something, like just keep them coming, and then
Room 11.
That will make you famous.
Room 11.
Yeah. In the hotel we were staying, apparently many places in San Diego are apparently haunted.
Well, you were staying in Old Town San Diego.
Okay, that's true. The hotel, but the part of the tour I was in, there was two of the stops were actually in the gas lamp district. So I mean, even that, gas lamp district is obviously old. I mean, it's not the place it is now, where it's a bunch of places to drink and hang
were there
out
like
and stuff.
gas ghosts that traveled through the gas lamps and the piping, just like in Doctor Who?
Nah, I don't know, but it was pretty cool. What we saw, all the history that went into it, but we didn't get to see any ghosts, unfortunately. But it's kind of one of those things, like you want to go on the ghost tour, but you kind of want to meet a ghost, but you want to see a ghost because it's kind of the point of the tour, but you don't really want to have to deal with a ghost because it could go badly.
But you ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Well, I'm afraid of a ghost. I don't have a proton pack or a trap or any of that stuff, so there's a reason why you wouldn't be afraid of a ghost. If you have that kind of weaponry, if you have those kind of things going on, then yeah, okay, don't be afraid of ghosts because you're packing. So yeah, ghosts will be afraid of you because then they're like, oh shit, they can get us. And the ghosts don't want that, I guess. Well, I'd assume if I were a ghost, I'd hate to be trapped in the containment unit. Although, I'm not even sure what it's like what it'd be like in there. Although
there was an episode back in the 80s Ghostbusters.
I was gonna say, yeah, in the cartoon, there was an episode. Was it the real Ghostbusters? I think it was the real Ghostbusters, like so. that cartoon series. And I didn't even really watch it, but I remember that episode.
Yeah, it was the original cast. Well, cast of characters.
Yeah, it was the original characters.
It wasn't the new one where they had the diverse people.
Right,
And,
yeah, I know what you're talking
the guy
about.
in the wheelchair and
But yeah, they do go into the containment unit, and it's a whole world actually in that version of it. I guess that's how I will always imagine it, though, as it's as a whole his own ghostly plane sort of thing that I guess is.
but you wouldn't imagine it like Patrick Swayze in Ghost.
That's the thing in Ghostbusters. Well, in the movie, I guess they had kind of humanoid ghosts, but in the cartoon they didn't. I don't think so, right?
Yeah, they had all kind.
All the ghosts were all like weird, like crazy, like Slimer type ghosts, where they don't. Well, I guess they do have. They might have arms and stuff like that, but mostly they're like monsterish type things. They're not just some ghost that's like hello,
or like demon dogs.
Right? They're. I guess I wonder if that was a choice they made. Like we can't have like human ghosts because that's a little too close, too close to real. We can't have that. We gotta make a monstrous because they gotta be monster ghost or something like that. But I mean, I like the real Ghostbusters. I guess it goes back to the Ghostbusters thing. Are they going to be making a third Ghostbusters?
I heard a rumor about that. I'm not sure how they're going to do it or if I even really want to see one, just because you pretty much have the first two movies that are just classics already. Can't really mess with those too much. But then again, like, if you get the right director, the right actors, and the right movie treatment, it can be something.
Now, do you want the original? Well, okay, you want to see, I'm guessing, the originals in some form, but you may not want to see them exactly busting ghosts.
Well, it's kind of like the George A. Romero zombie movies. Like back in the day, those were the classics and everything, and then now they kind of reinvent them, and now you're like, oh wow, they remade the movies and everything, and kind of gave it a more modern twist, but still paid homage to the original classic.
True, but then the thing about those ones is they never really carried over. They didn't have characters that carried over.
Yeah.
Like whereas Ghostbusters, if you just like made a whole new set of Ghostbusters,
but you kind of need to have
you're gonna need them in some form or fashion.
It'd be more like a reboot than anything.
But you'd still have to have them somewhere in there. But you can't have them carrying the whole movie like in 1 and 2, where they're like toting around proton packs and slinging ghosts and stuff. You don't want to see that because that might just be sad. Because you just be like, someone get the proton pack off. Someone carry his proton pack. Although I'd like to see them in the suits and the proton packs and everything. Like maybe one scene where they like where shit's getting real and they have to suit up and save whoever is being like. I remember hearing something, an idea about how they would have, like different. They'd have Ghostbuster franchises. That's what it is, and that was kind of the story where they had set up franchises in other places, and that was going to be how they got a different set of Ghostbusters in a different area. Idea. I forgot where I heard it, but
so
it's not recent. But
kind of like what they have with NCIS and CSI.
Exactly.
It's like Las Vegas, New York.
So you still have the main guys still doing their thing in New York
and Miami,
and you can still have them. You can still have them come out and show up, like all of a sudden in I don't know, Ghostbusters South Dakota. I don't know, or I guess L.A. I guess you'd want to go major city.
Ghostbusters Wyoming.
It's true. You'd probably have to go major city, but then you could have them show up from there when things get really bad. But as much as I guess I'd like to see another movie only because I like Ghostbusters, but I also wouldn't like to because it doesn't take much to go wrong before it's really a bad idea.
Like Knight Rider.
I don't even know. I don't think I even watched the reboot. Did you watch it? I can't say. Maybe it wasn't that bad, and obviously it was canceled, so must not have been great, but great shows have been canceled, so it's hard to say. I'd hate to give an opinion on it and have not having watched it and people go, that new Knight Rider, it was awesome. I don't know who'd say that, but there's fans of everything, so there's probably fans of the new Knight Rider. But I don't know if I don't know if I'd want to see a new like a Ghostbusters, but the Ghostbusters video game that came out, the one a couple years ago now, I think kind of was Ghostbusters 3 actually. In that one, the player is a silent protagonist actually, but I guess they're looking for a new hire to test out their stuff. Like they have new weapons and stuff, but they don't want to try it out. So they hired you to basically try it out, but meanwhile, you go to all the iconic locations because apparently they in the storyline ghost activity is happening in these places. So it's a way they figure out a way to get you to be able to play in these, like in the hotel, in the library. There's level in both those places. There's a level where you fight Stay Puft. So they do all the iconic stuff, and you get to play it all, and it's a great game. I think I've played through it twice actually. And
so you unlocked got all the achievements, unlocked all the bonus levels and secrets.
No, I didn't really need to. I just wanted to play through the story because the story is fun, and I mean you get to sling a proton pack, you get to bust ghosts. It's really a fun game, and kind of the storyline could easily be the storyline for Ghostbusters 3, although it already exists in the video game, so they'd have to do something different. But it does prove that it's possible. Like if they had done that, you need the silent protagonist because that's only so the player has someone to play. But the rest of the storyline you could have done. Although if you had it in Ghostbusters 3, it would have felt like you were watching 1 and 2 again because they go back. But maybe you would like the homage to the other ones where they actually go back to the library and fight, and they go back to the hotel.
It's like a bit of nostalgia.
Some would say nostalgia. Some would say they ran out of ideas and just went by the same place. I'd say I'd go with the nostalgia.
Well, in general, I heard it was a good game, but I think most of the reviews came from the people who were playing with those nostalgia glasses.
Yeah, kind of, but it's still a fun third person. Even just if you were to generalize it as third person with a beam weapon, where you're just an action kind of platformer, but mostly just action shooter kind of game. It just works as that. Even if you were to strip, I don't know. I felt like if you stripped out the storyline, it kind of works. But I guess it could be repetitive if you were to strip out the storyline, which would make sense because all you're doing is the same thing. But then, yeah, I guess it could be repetitive, maybe. But I mean, it's still fun, and I feel like playing it again now. But now now that they don't have all the cast available,
yeah,
I guess maybe it's less likely that we'll see one. Because for the longest time, Bill Murray wasn't on board, right?
Yeah,
they had kind of. I think everyone else was.
Yeah, I think everyone else really wanted to do it, and I think Harold Ramis was the one who was kind of like the one pushing everything.
No,
kind of like Hugh Jackman is the one who usually pushes everything for X-Men. He's like, "Come on, let's do this." It's awesome. It's like it's only awesome because everyone likes you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Come on, bub. Sneaked. Yeah, I've been meaning to get that game too and play it. I think I have the demo that I've played, but nothing really beyond that. But from what I've seen, pretty good. Yeah.
I don't know if it has co-op. I mean, we should maybe try it out on co-op if it does, because that'd be pretty fun. I mean, it'd be pretty cool. Yeah, if you had 4 players, but then you'd have
4 screens.
4 screens, but like no original Ghostbusters, just you guys just busting ghosts and stuff. That could be cool.
just Ghostbusters theme song on loop.
Exactly. But I mean, it's pretty fun, worth a try.
So did you actually catch any ghosts?
Yeah,
on your tour?
Oh no. And even I think it was just interesting just hearing all the stories about stuff happening.
So it's more of like a historical tour almost.
There's also a historical aspect. Well, people dying historical, like so and so died in this old
a grisly,
building.
horrible death.
Kind of thing. Like people died here. Here's the history, and you kind of get a time stamp of what was going on at the time. Like in that house, people died of tuberculosis when there was a big outbreak. So you're like, oh, at sometime in whenever they had a big outbreak, and this is what happened. So you kind of get a little historical, and it was interesting. That part was interesting, and like the chance that you might run into a ghost. I felt it the most in that house because it's like it was just our group, so it's like okay, we're locked in the house, but we're kind of like in this house that's supposed to be haunted, so maybe we'll find something. So I'm taking pictures of everything. I did not take pictures of. I did not get a ghost in any of my pictures, not for lack of trying. I took a picture of just.
You just chose not to appear before your camera.
Yes, my particular camera.
Split second.
It might not
shutter releases.
Right. It might not even like my brand of camera, so that's why the ghost chose. It's like that. No, I will not appear before that. Not that camera. But
it's like Canon. I'm a Nikon.
Not gonna show up on this camera.
Nikon. I'm a
Take a picture over here. I'll be on yours, but not that guy's. Kind of thing. And I guess she was saying, I guess they were redesigning the website, but she was saying they were going to add something to their website for people to submit pictures of ghosts, of ghosts, basically. If they take a picture of something.
Good free marketing.
Yeah, I mean.
But then at that point, you kind of have to worry about Photoshop.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, yeah.
Well, because I mean, obviously, the one that was leading the tour has gone on many tours because that's her job. So if anyone's going to see something, it's probably going to be her.
It's like, this isn't real. This is Photoshop. The ghost in here is supposed to be a dude, not...
Exactly. I know what the ghost here looks like. And that ain't that ghost. Wrong ghost kind of thing. But I guess she was telling us a story about, I guess, another tour she was on when I guess that same house. It's a 2-story house. And we didn't get to go in the upstairs area, but there's like not shades, but like, well, I guess curtains. There we go. That's what I was looking for. There's curtains, and they're just drawn basically. Like when we were there. But she was saying one time. I mean, she might have been lying. Who knows? But it was still a good story. One of the guys, the last guys to go out was to go back to the bus after they'd gone through there. Was looking up at something in the upper window, and then it looked like. She's like, oh, what are you looking at? She's like, there's someone up in that window up there. And because she looks up there, and it looks like someone's pulling the curtain to the side a little bit, like the corner, and kind of like the face kind of a woman, I guess, is what she was saying. And she's like, oh, that, and she was looking at it too. And then I think she goes and talks to the caretaker, and it's like maybe like it was the wind or something had been pushed aside, so she was
with the face
or something like that, or maybe something was near the window or something like that. Something was up there, and she had the caretaker go up there and just kind of see if anyone was up there, or like maybe someone had snuck up there from the tour or something.
So then you draw a salt line and you nope your way out of there.
Well, because apparently there's caretakers there. I'm like, I don't know if I'd want to just be like that job. Just hang out in this house at night and caretake this, obviously, where a lot of people died and stayed dead in urns for a long time.
That kind of reminds me a little bit of some of the shows that I've seen, where, well, shows and just stories in general that you find, where the place is known to be haunted, except they have this like poor sap who comes in as a new hire, and they're like, we're not going to tell him anything. And because I think it's just all in their head, kind of like the placebo effect. It's like, if we tell you, then you're going to kind of expect
your mind's going to start seeing things because we've told you that there might be things, so it'll start just filling in the gaps, possibly, if we tell you. But if we don't tell you, then it doesn't exist. And then after that, it always happens. Like, this weird thing happened to me, and it was this, and they describe it exactly like how everyone else has been seeing it forever. And wait, you mean that? Wait, that always happens? That like 100% of the time? That seems a bit like specific. Okay, I was to say, like, wow, that's crazy.
At least what makes the stories.
Oh, okay, yeah.
100% of the times the stories actually have a payoff.
Because I was like, well, I mean, also I was thinking, like, if you're in like a spooky place anyways, no one needs to tell you anything. Like, that shit went down here, like someone died. You could have said this was like just like a puppy resting spot and no one ever died here and only happy things happen here. But if it looks spooky as hell, as soon as
you walk in the door, the hairs on the back of your neck start standing up and you're like, liar.
If it looks spooky as hell, your mind's gonna like, I don't care what's going on, it looks bad in here. You're like, if it looks nice and nicely brightly lit,
it's just the wind.
Yeah,
in a room with closed doors and no open windows and no vents, just the wind.
You're like, here, stay in this asylum. Nothing weird ever happened here. It was a nice, happy asylum. Here, stay here in the dark with this flashlight. But nothing bad ever happened here, so don't worry about it, kind of thing. Like, it's like, well, it's still spooky as hell. So yeah, it's still spooky as hell. So you're gonna, your mind's still gonna just be like, what's that? We're not the only one here. We're not alone, kind of thing. I think, but now all this ghost talk means she wants to actually read. When I looked up way back for the best of, I guess I forgot what it was called, Ghost Hunters, basically, which was a weird show because I think that the two main dudes, at least the original one from a while back, were like plumbers or something. Like, ghost hunting was their hobby, sort of, but they weren't ghost hunters. It was like a side project that they did,
and then suddenly they became experts in the field.
And or when someone said, hey, we could make a show out of this, here's a bunch of things like cameras and sound equipment and just a bunch of stuff, then they looked all professional.
And a thermometer.
Yeah, they looked all professional, but you're just like, well, that's still not their day job. That's still their, like, well, we'll do it. I mean, we were doing it anyway, but we're just using, this handy cam and just trying to just look around kind of stuff. But now we got all this professional thermal imaging stuff and, sound generators and stuff like that. So
I'm kind of curious too, now that you went on this trip and everything, like if you're going to do the other trips or maybe even do the, not even in the same area, but like say Queen Mary, do the haunted tour.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Queen Mary one actually, and that one's a lot more local. Actually, the interesting thing about just tours in general is when we were planning this trip, we asked our friend who lives down in San Diego because we were thinking about going on this ghost tour, and we were asking her about like things to do, and we asked her, "Oh, do you know anything about this ghost tour?" She's like, "No, I'll ask my coworkers." And I was thinking about it, I'm like, I bet they probably don't know anything about it because people. I don't know. I don't mean to generalize, but I don't think people tend to go on tours of their own city. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter if you live in a small town, but for LA,
an accurate statement, I would say.
I know I don't. And then I was thinking about it, I'm like, I don't really know this this LA, Hollywood area. I might live technically in Southern California, but I don't know all the ins and outs about it. And a tour should still be interesting to me, even though I'd live in the area, but I don't know everything about the area. So I was like, I should take more tours.
Go on a TMZ tour or Starline tour.
Dude, just all those tours. Just do it like on a weekend. Just like, let's just go on a tour of our own backyard. I'm definitely sure I will learn a lot of new things. Although the TMZ tour, I'm not sure how many new things I will learn or useful things, but I don't know.
Celebrity gossip.
But the ghost tour ones, actually, I'm intrigued by them now. So
yeah, they actually have like the history of LA tours, and I'm sure there's got to be like kind of like how Vegas has a tour, which I think you should go on that one too now. The Gangsters and Mafias and Ghosts tour or something like that.
It's a ghost tour?
Yeah.
Of what?
Vegas.
Like, well, I don't know how scary I'd find the Strip. I mean, it is scary. There are scary people on the Strip, but not boo scary, but like, oh my God, don't touch me scary kind of things. But where does it actually... I'm guessing it doesn't take place on the Strip. It's got to take place in the...
Well, I think it goes all over the Vegas area, because you know how the MGM used to be where the Bally's is currently right now? That used to be the original MGM. And then they had a fire, people died, and they moved to the new MGM Grand building, the big green one.
Mm.
So I'm sure there's like ghost stories there, and
I guess it'd have to be
mafias, people getting hits.
I guess when I imagine it, like when I imagine Vegas, basically, I imagine a lot of lights. Like, it's not... I guess if you did it when all the lights weren't running or something, which is only usually during the daytime anyways, it's less scary because there's just like... There's so much stuff going on, at least when you're like in a cemetery or a haunted house. Nothing's happening. Like, there's no real lights or anything like that. It's scary, but the Strip itself... So I'm wondering how... Like, unless they take you inside buildings or down in the basement of the MGM Grand, like somewhere like where it's scary, or where it's very limited lighting and just has scary atmosphere. Because the Strip itself, if I was standing on the Strip and like, right here, a lot of people died, and then like to the left, someone's trying to get me to go look at their whatever cards they're holding in their hand, it's a little bit distracting. But I mean, I'm obviously just
postcards.
Yeah, but I mean, if I'm sure maybe they've got it worked out where it is kind of they probably take you to areas of Vegas off Strip, probably, because it'd probably be, I guess, hard to scare somebody while they're standing on the Strip and try and tell them a scary story when like all these drunk people are walking by and stuff, and it's gotta be very distracting to like try to get... Exactly, trying to get people scared when that's happening. But I'm guessing that I'm probably just being an ass, and the tours probably takes you to places off Strip, I'd guess, or maybe areas of downtown that are not like the Fremont experience, but the ones that are a little seedier areas. Maybe you don't even leave the bus or something. You're just like, there it is, don't get off the bus, kind of thing. But, I mean, that was the one in San Diego was cool, so yeah, I'd be willing to try other ones and just try other tours and stuff. Just to see what they were like, just to, if anything, learn stuff, even about our own city. Even like those Hollywood tours of maybe famous people's houses, and just annoy them by driving up to the house.
That's what we would call a staycation. Because it's cheaper because you have to go out as far and you learn about your own city like a tourist, which I've kind of been trying to do that more. Just try to find things that, I mean, just living here and not knowing much of anything, once you realize, you're like, oh, let me kind of go out and explore the area and kind of see things anew for the first time again.
And it is I mean, we live in LA kind of county, but
there's so much to do.
There is so much to see. And I probably haven't seen all. I just want to check out all the touristy stuff just to see it, because I mean, if it's worth coming to see as a tourist, then it should be worth seeing as anybody who lives here at least once, right?
There's tons of stuff to do. It's just
Meanwhile, we're saying there's nothing to do. Pretty much. Although, I mean, there are some things we've been wanting to do. Like, we want to go to medieval times, actually. Dinner and tournament, sorry.
Tournament.
It's tournament. Which, I guess...
Well, that's not really a historical thing. That's just more of an attraction in general.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of more of a, touristy thing. Sorry, I was thinking touristy at that point, but less historical. I guess I was just thinking the ghost tour would be kind of more historical, because then, you're usually seeing buildings that are condemned or something, so there's a history there that no one cares about because people just probably walk by it, but then it might be haunted.
Tour, you're like, let's cross this line and go explore.
Let's go into that haunted asylum over there and have fun. Or not, because it's scary and
so much fun.
I don't know if I'd be that inclined to go. And the hotel we were staying at apparently had a haunted room. I guess it was room 11 there. But they told us about it when they were explaining, they were like telling us about the hotel. They're like, because it was in Old Town, so they were telling us all about this hotel. It's the oldest hotel in, I believe, California or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, I think it is the Cosmopolitan Hotel, and I think I remember seeing a sign. I think it was in.
It's right in the smack dab center of Old Town, and all the historical museums and shops and everything that they have there.
Oh yeah, it was right in the middle, and it was nice, but it was very old timey.
Creepy. Can you sleep well?
No, I didn't have trouble. But the creepy part is they didn't have TVs in the rooms. It was a bed and a dresser, and
all the creaks and squeaks of the building.
Well, the bed was really noisy. Like every time I got out of the bed, it was very loud. So there was no quietly leaving the bed to use the bathroom in the night. It was just like, nope, everybody's waking up because it's the loudest thing ever. I think, and the toilets were pool chain. They had
even
the
the
pool
mattresses
chain.
were old fashioned.
Yes, they were super old fashioned, and it was nice in that way, that old fashioned way. Although it was weird having a room without a TV because so used to having it as the bare essentials of even the cheapest room you get.
Even when you look at it, that's a fairly recent invention that's just become so pervasive within our lives right now.
Oh yeah, in my current times, yeah.
Even quicker than that.
Yeah, it's true.
But like, you go camping on a camping trip up in the cabin up north, no TVs, no phone lines, maybe electricity.
Well, I mean, so I guess some, but like a lot of cabins now they're all like very
well, now you can get a signal anywhere. You just you just need a satellite.
Yes,
a satellite dish. Point it at the sky, and there's your signal. Yay!
And never too far away from civilization, unless you're trying, and then you really have to try.
That's why I go camping in non-cabin places.
Get your cabins away from me. Well, because when you go camping, you have a point to your camping, which is you're trying to disconnect.
Which I think is important for everyone to do. People become so attached to the electronics and their way of life that they literally cannot bear to live without being connected for more than a day. Perfect example, like relatives we had went camping with us, and they're like late middle school, early high school age. Actually, I think they were both in high school at that time, and they would not let go of the cell phones. You're like, I need to find out what's happening on Facebook. I need to talk to my friend. It's like, why'd you even want to come? And then the funny thing is, like, when we're leaving, they're like, oh, it was so nice. Let's turn around and go back. It's like, nope. It's like you're realizing it too late.
Well, that's if you have somebody to go with that's kind of is good at camping and stuff. And I mean, if you just go out there,
Well, I don't go roughing it. I still have like flush toilets and hot running water.
well, I mean,
But still, it's like you don't have a TV. You cook outdoors on a camp stove in a fire pit or what have you. Eat off paper plates and plastic utensils.
and just tree bark. You just pull the. Is that no? You don't do that. Roughing it, you just pull the bark off a tree and plate.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's like toilet paper.
There is no more toilet paper, but there is tree bark. Oh, okay, maybe not
Charmin.
that hardcore. No, even bears use Charmin. They don't even. They use the fluffy stuff, so they don't even rough it anymore. So why should you rough it? They don't rough it.
Yes. I think we kind of got off track, but
I don't know where the track was anymore.
your haunted tours.
Oh wow!
And being a tourist in LA.
Yes,
being a local tourist of LA.
Would you call it a staycation?
Well, that's like you have time off, and instead of going out, technically it was supposed to be you couldn't afford to go anywhere far outside, so then you turn inward, and it's like, oh, well, what can we do locally? And have that be our vacation without really leaving our hometown. And staycation. So, yeah, in a sense, I guess that would apply.
Oh, okay. I have to try that. But yeah, definitely want to try.
Yeah, there's a bunch of things I've been trying to do.
You are a busy man, sir.
Yes. But I have hit a good number of places like Hollywood and Highland, the Walk of Fame, Pink's over in Hollywood, Griffith Park, LA Zoo, the LA Live Steamers, where they run the like miniature trains in Griffith Park.
Almost need to make like an LA or Southern Cali,
the Getty, Westwood, the
bucket list or something of things. Like just list everything that can be done or that a tourist would do if they were trying to book their vacation, and just do those things.
Yeah,
that sounds like you've done.
I've actually used like the LA tourism website to kind of help. It's like, well, I already did these. I want to find something else to do.
Yeah, you did the obvious ones.
Or some of them are just like crazy expensive, and I still don't see how a tourist would come and do that when there's other things to do, especially when you have like Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, Universal Studios, Magic Mountain, SeaWorld, San Diego, Zoo, Wild Animal Park, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
Legoland.
I mean, there's definitely a lot to do. And then there's the smaller stuff. That's like the big stuff to do.
But there's even more stuff to eat.
I mean, well, I guess that's true. Like anywhere you go, though. Like there's always.
I think.
Well, not anywhere, but like in major cities, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like if you go to New York, you're like, oh, you got to hit all these places, or even a Chicago or
Chicago dog and a deep dish pizza.
You got those things going on. Yeah, so I know if I ever, or whenever I get out to Hawaii, apparently there's tons of places to eat, from what my friends tell me. So apparently I got a lot of places to go there, but I don't know.
You gotta get a Portuguese sausage, shaved ice, like all the local flavors, malasadas.
All the good stuff, yes. But too much, and then actually do things.
You gotta have the kind grinds.
You gotta eat all that stuff, and then actually do activities like walking and looking at things,
and hiking and seeing the volcanoes.
Exactly. But yeah, I guess we'll probably do more of that. Talk more about that next time, I guess. Or about But we're got a good amount of time here. I think I close it out for today.
So soon? That was quick.
I know. It just seems like time flies when you're talking about
One topic.
ghosts. One topic, exactly. Yes, all the topics we have, and we'll just stick around to one topic roughly, or
Tangential topics.
and just shut off. But I guess we'll close it out there and just come back next time. So for Ben and myself, want to say anything? Yeah. Parting words before we head out.
Thanks for listening.
Yes, definitely. Thanks for listening, and
to another kNights podcast.
Yes, till next time.
We'll talk about it.
I don't know if that's a catchphrase, but yes, that's.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. Yes. Till next time.
Till next time. Next time. Next time. Next time. Next time. Next time. Next time.